Hey, this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I'm going to try to demonstrate a trade today. We'll see. If something sets up here. I thought we were going to get a setup right here, but we didn't. But we've talked about this bar by bar stuff, so what I'm going to do is give you some thoughts into how I think and what I'm looking for at the market. I'm not really paying attention to bar by bar. Uh, and few people I know I've talked about bar by bar in the past. I know I talked about throwing the chart on the table and covering up the end and going bar by bar studying the chart, but I was not really studying bar by bar. I was just trying to predict what comes next. And if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't waste my time doing that because that doesn't really help you. What I would do now is I would look to find these trends, channels, and then I would look for the points I expect the setup to happen, and then I would look for the setup in the signal bar. That's how I would trade today. I wouldn't do it bar by bar anymore because I don't think that's helpful. I thought that was the way to go because it's the way your chart will do as it's printing. But the key, the most important things is where things are going to happen. And so this looks like a range day, and notice we've been working up and down, and here we've been working up, and notice that overshoot. When I saw that overshoot, the first thing I'm thinking is, okay, we're about to get a break of this channel, and we could get a reversal. Sometimes an overshoot like that will lead to a reversal, but most of the time it'll lead to a break and then a move to a new high. So now I'm expecting a possible trend in the other direction. So I'm just sitting here waiting for a setup. I thought we'd get one here. You can see the move it made, but it didn't give me a setup. The signal bar is no good. The bar that started lower was an inside bar to a doji, so I can't take that. So I'm just sitting here, and you can see we're not through going lower. So that kept me out of a possible. I mean, I would have got a scalp and nothing more there, but that kept me out of a possible bad trade. So, but we're getting close to the highs up here. So at any point, this thing could turn down. And notice too, on the way up here, I usually don't draw my trend lines, but notice what happened. We got a break. If you did draw a trend line, let's just draw the trend line. You've got a break now, and you're trying to make a new high. Now maybe a setup to go short will occur after that. Do I know for sure? No, but that's what I'm expecting is that we may make a high here, a new high, and then get a setup to go short. So that's how I'm thinking. I'm waiting for prices to get there, to do things. I'm not sitting here watching this bar by bar. While we were going up here, I was either looking for longs. Once we got that overshoot, I'm looking for a break here, so I know not to try to get long in here unless I get a good setup to go long. This probably would have been a nice higher low here. I don't know that I would have taken that. Maybe it's moved a little bit, but it's very low risk. It's like 4 ticks, so that would have been a great place to get long for the retest. So that's the things I'm looking for. I'm not sitting here watching this thing bar by bar, and going over it bar by bar does not help you that much. What helps you is understanding what we're doing here and waiting for prices to get to those points and being able to recognize it, and then having the patience to do the right thing. So we'll see if we make a new high here, and I don't know if we made one there yet or not. It looks close. That high is 36.75. Technically, we already made a new high on this green channel, so we're just kind of waiting on this one to play out. And that one's 36.75. So we've got a double top so far. So I'd like to see. I mean, that could be a lower high there, but I would like to see before I'd take a short. I'd like to see that thing break higher there. So we'll sit here and we'll wait. And I'm not interested in these bars until we get a setup, and we don't have a setup yet. So there's nothing going on. But I'll just pause it here and we'll just wait and see. I mean, there's not much else to talk about here. It looks like it could be a range day. We don't really have a consistent high up here yet, so you can't really trade off the high yet. So we're just waiting on a setup to go short here because I'm expecting this to turn based on what we're seeing. Now, it could go higher and we might get another trend going up. We'll just have to see. But as of now, I'm expecting that we're probably going to go lower first. And so we will wait and see what happens. And notice too, once again, we closed here yesterday and we opened here at 8:30. So there's a little bit of a gap again today, and we didn't quite fill it. So it looks like we're going lower. We just haven't had a setup yet, or it looks like the market wants to go. We're finding a lot of resistance up here. Doesn't mean we won't get through. Doesn't mean we won't get a trade. We'll just sit here and wait, and we'll see what happens. And I may pause this because it's. I guess I can come back and cut it out, but it just takes a lot of work to have to edit the video. But we'll just sit here and watch, and I'll probably pause it and come back and. But it looks like it wants to go lower. It looks like exactly what I'm expecting to happen could be happening. Still don't know yet because we still haven't got a setup that we could trade. Haven't got anything definite that says we're going lower than that right there. We've got almost got a triple bottom right there. Well, actually, we pushed through there. We could still get a triple bottom there, but and go higher. So it looks like we're really kind of going sideways here. There we go. We're pushing on down a little lower here. I expect we're going to go lower. Now, like I said, it could change. I could be wrong, but that's what it's looking like. That's what I'm expecting, a possible turn here because this is played out. It's a range day and you got mixed trading, and this is played out, and we'll see now if we get a trend working lower. And there we go. We're breaking lower. Getting a really tight channel here is what we're getting, which often won't give you a chance to trade it. But let's see if we get a bigger trend or something. This is just the start. But see, I mean, none of these bars mean anything other than they're telling me I was right that we were probably going to top out here, even if only temporarily, because this had played out. I knew we were probably going to get a break right here because I got this overshoot. And I knew we'd probably try to go higher and make a retest, which we did. Then we tried to make a retest of even the retest, but it failed. And now we're going lower. So that's the things you're looking for. That's what you have to learn to see. The bars individually mean very little unless it's the signal bar. I mean, does it hurt to sit there and go over it bar by bar? No, but I just feel like you're wasting a lot of time, and I'm not, I don't think it's the most important thing. The most important thing is to find these trends and channels, find the support and resistance, be able to spot where the turns are coming, where the breaks are coming, and then being able to spot the setups at the key entry points. So I'm just going to pause this. We'll see what happens. We're pulling back here to test the breakout of this little double bottom and probably the EMA as well. We'll get way away from the EMA. So we'll see what happens here. And I'll come back in a minute when something else is going on. Okay, just a little update here. Notice we made a lower high here. I drew my new trend line off that. So far it looks, maybe we're setting up a new downtrend here. We'll see. Let's see if we can get a second entry short here maybe, or if we're just going to go lower. If it came back now and gave us another touch and turned down and gave us a signal bar, we could get us a second entry short here. Now, if it breaks and goes higher, then I'll probably just remove this channel and start over again. We'll start watching again. But this is how you do this. I'm not interested in these bars by themselves. They're not that important. You'd be much more, your time would be better spent studying the chart, figuring out how to find the trend lines and understanding what prices are doing, following the rules, and waiting on things to happen at these key entry points. This midline really looks valid here so far, so we could have a good trend setting up here, and we might get a second entry short here in a minute. Let's hope so. If we don't, we keep waiting. This is what separates good traders from average traders, is patience and not trying to. I mean, we could have forced a trade right there. It looked like, there was a good chance it was going lower, but sometimes you'll take it and it just keeps going higher. And so we don't force those kind of trades. We wait on the right moment, the right setup, and if it means waiting for hours, we wait for hours. That's the difference between an average trader and a good trader. Okay, I'm gonna pause it here and wait till we get a setup. There's nothing to do yet. We're still waiting. Okay, notice we made a new low here, so we're not gonna get a second entry on this one. Doesn't mean it can't come back and give us a failure or something, but we're not gonna get a second entry here. Notice how we push through that midline. Let's see if it comes back and tests it and turns down again, or if it'll push back through it and make, looks like it's gonna push back through it. So far it hasn't closed above it though. Yep, see, so far that midline's still holding. It gives me more clues that maybe my midline is correct. Look how it held right there. How it pushed way up, but it still held. Those are just clues that, hey, maybe this channel is correct. Maybe I'm on the right track here. Until it gets confirmed, I don't know that this trend channel is correct. But just looking at the clues, it looks pretty valid so far. So we'll see what happens. We may just get two legs down here and we might go higher again. We do have this channel, a break, and a new low. But is this one going to come into play and overpower it? Is this just a smaller channel inside the bigger pattern? We don't know yet. We got to wait and see. So we're waiting to see. Those are the things I'm looking at and looking for. I'm going to pause it and we'll pick back up when there's something else to look at and talk about. Well, let's just watch a second here. Looks like it's going to close still below the EMA. So that EMA is holding. Now, whether or not we're only going to get two legs out of this move, I don't know yet. But for now, that EMA is still in play. So it's just giving me more clues that my channel is correct. So I'll pause it and we'll wait a minute and see what happens. Just another comment here. This is why the bar by bar is not that important, because I don't care what these bars are doing now. Until they get back to the key entry point and give me a setup, I don't care what they're doing. I mean, I care, don't get me wrong. You want to try to figure out what's going on, but I'm not looking at it bar by bar. It's not relevant. Until this prices get back to where I can get a setup to, I think we're starting a downtrend. So that's what I'm seeing here. We could just be going sideways, and this might be support right here. Prices are really struggling to go up higher. Doesn't mean they won't, but there's no real reason to be studying these bars and watching these bars by bar. I'm just waiting on something to get back to a key entry point. And prices are really trying. They're struggling, but they're really, really trying. So we'll pause it and see what happens, and I'll pick it back up in a minute. Okay, you see what's happened here? We broke higher. We're right at the key entry point. We could turn lower and get a failure here. I just don't know if I feel comfortable going short on a failure right into all that support. But we'll see how it sets up here. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the trend line may not even hold. It may go higher here. We may have just gotten a two-legged correction and we may go higher. Because we've had two legs down. Now we may get two legs up and could go lower again. This is really mixed trading here for sure. It's easy to get chopped up in this. You got to be careful. But the game is in the waiting. Just waiting for something to set up. One tick below that. Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens here. Second entry gonna trigger, yay or nay? Yep, if it does, it'll be an engulfing bar, and I don't like an engulfing bar there really, so we'll wait. All right, we've got a second entry already triggered. We just needed a good signal bar, which I think that qualifies there, so we'll go short now if it goes. All right, let's move our safety stop one tick above. So we'll try to get our 4 ticks here on 15 contracts. Prices have bounced off our order. There we go. We're triggered. We're break even. We got a lot of support down there. We could actually give this more room if we wanted. I'm just going to let it play out. We're 45.31. So we got 3 points on the runners if we get a runner here. Should have probably pulled it up a little bit with that support. We'll let it play out. We'll just see what happens. Hopefully prices will make a new low at the minimum on this, if this channel's valid here, which it seems to be. It looks like it was just two legs with the third leg down, and we may get a different channel here, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of support there. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just put my runner right in front of the support, but you don't catch any really big runners. You get your extra points off of it, but you don't catch the really big runners. Yeah, they're going to end up getting, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this 1 tick to pay for my commissions. And if I survive, I survive. And if I don't, I at least pay for my commissions on the 5 losers. And there we are. We got stopped out. We made 1 tick on those last 5. So there it was. It paid for our commissions on the last 5 there. And so that's how you do it. That's what you want to do. And that's why sometimes you're better off to give this more room, because we're going to probably end up making a new low here the way it looks. And if you move that stop to break even or break even plus one, they're going to get you 90% of the time, or maybe not 90% of the time, but at least 75 or 80. That's why I usually only try to get runners on when the market's trending. Generally, on a day like this, I probably would have just scapped out 20 contracts because you can see it's just mixed trade. We're not getting any big run moves. So, but I wanted to try to get a runner and demonstrate it, but so we could see how we did it. But that's how you trade it. We're not that interested in each bar. We're interested in the context, what's going on. And I was looking for a short here. Why? Because this channel had played out and it looks like a range day and it's mixed trading. So you couldn't really go short on that because there's too much support across here. Will it push on down? Maybe, but you can't risk it. So if we don't eventually go lower here, we're going to go higher. If it finds more support here, it's going to go higher. So we'll see what happens. But you got to see the trade there. Hopefully that's helpful to people. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the bar by bar. I just don't think it's that important. I don't care about the bar until I get ready to trade. And I mean, you saw right there what I was just explaining to you what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking. And now we're expecting prices to make a new low here on this channel. And there might be something else going on. There might be another channel. I mean, it might be like this, and we might still have a channel here. We'll have to see. I don't really like that. It just looks more sideways. I'm more apt to say, hey, we're in a range right here. So this is probably the better way to look at this. And be playing it now. There it is. So you do have a triple test here, but if this is a range, it may not. I don't like that one really. It's a second entry long too. It's probably good for a scalp, but I would be wary because we don't have this new low on this channel that really looked valid here. So I would sit tight. Could still go higher, but I would sit tight. But anyway, hopefully that was helpful to people. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking, and that's how my brain is working when I'm trading. This needs to be a little bit higher right there. So yeah, spending a lot of time just studying the bars and going bar by bar. I just think you're holding yourself back because what you want to learn to do is find the key entry points, find the support and resistance, find the ranges, the trend channels. That's what's more important in my opinion. So wait on that stuff. Study that every day. At the end of every day, go back and try to and compare your chart to mine at the end of the day and see what you missed, and then go back and try to find it properly. Take your trade, study every trade. Like I would study that trade, put it on there and study it. It was a good trade. Did I make any mistakes? Probably the mistake I made was that I didn't give it a little more room. If I'd have gave it an extra tick besides break even, if I'd have did break even -1, I'd have got a runner here, and it would have come down, made the new low just like that, and I would have got another 3-point runner instead of a 1 tick. That would have been another 15 points instead of only 5 points. Or no, 5 ticks, I mean. So there's a big difference there. But anyway, hopefully that's helpful. I'll try to do more of these when I got time. Time is the problem here. I just don't have time to do this every day between my own trading and trying to do what I do and handle my other business as well. So, but anyway, hope everybody has a good trading day, and we'll see you next time.